Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the BLIMP Podcast with Brando and Jordo. I'm Jordo, and you're here with Brando. How are you today, Brando?
Yeah, good, man. How about yourself?
I'm always good. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
So guys, we thought it's always this is our something to look forward to midweek, right? It's our tether amongst the busy life. But thank you to all our listeners or our viewers today, wherever you're tuning in from. And so, Brando, today I thought we'd talk about reputation, service, credibility. Things that are really important to us, right? I know that I think service is the first thing I want to touch on. I know for me, I think to give good service, to receive it's really good, but I think it can't just be a one-way street of take. You've got to give good service as well. Yeah. I know for me it means a lot when I go to say my cafe, or you go somewhere and they remember your order. They remember your name. They remember giving you your coffee order. To me, that's good service. How about yourself?
Yeah, look, I frequent a lot of takeaway places, and Faster Pass is one of them. They know my name, they know my order, and they always, give me a free, garlic bread or something like that. So it's that personalization really goes a long way with me.
I'm gonna have to start going there if there's free garlic bread, right? So I think that's cool. It makes me think of a story I'll share today about a couple of Italian businessmen. And I think the moral of this story is be careful you don't create a competitor. Because I think we said this in like an earlier podcast, Brandon, is how many times when we've looked at a business, you're like, there's such a gap in the market because these people don't service it or do it effectively. Yeah. Maybe we could make a lot of money by starting a business. There are people out there like that. Or just to stick it to the person or the company where they got bad service. I've seen people start successful businesses that turn into empires.
Yeah.
But on that story, I'd love to share with you today about a couple of Italian businessmen, right? So one of these businessmen had a car dealership, and the other was a really, really successful, he had a successful tractor maintenance company. So what happened was, being a successful business owner, the guy that owned the tractor maintenance company, he decided, I'm going to buy some race cars. So he went to the local car dealership and he brought a couple of race cars. And it turned out that because he drove these cars pretty hard, he had a couple of problems. One was with the gearbox and the other was with overheating. So he's gone to the owner of the dealership and said, hey, do you know what? There's some dramas here. I think you could potentially fix it this way. My tractors have this really unique gearbox configuration. If you did this, they'd probably last a bit longer. And this is a unique defining moment or opportunity where the owner of the car dealership could have showed like good service or potentially created a competitor. And his response to this person was, or to the owner of the tractor company was like, it's not a problem with my vehicles. It's a problem with the way you drive it. If you think you can do it better, you can go and do it yourself. So this guy was like, you know what? I'm going to go do that. And he started up a company in direct opposition to the owner of that car dealership. And the names of those two dealership owners, the guy who owned that first dealership was a guy called Enzo Ferrari. And the guy who owned the tractor company was a guy called Ferruccio Lamborghini. And I think we know what the results of that have been when it comes to market share to this day, with those stables of Ferrari, Lamborghini. So it just shows you've got to have good service. I think throughout our business, we have these moments which can make or break us, or potentially impact us in the future. So what brand do you like out of those two? What's your favorite?
I only fit in Lamborghinis.
True, you are tall. Hey, like, what are you, like 6'4", 6'5"?
No, I'm like 6'2". So
okay.
So but the Ferraris are just too tight. I think I've just got longer legs and a short torso.
I think I just slop into them. Hey, it's my midsection. I'm built like Tyson Fury in the middle. So they say it's the epitome of like performance, but you don't even get into supercars. So I don't own one, so it's all good. No, I think that's really cool. So obviously that's service. I think we always have to keep that in mind when we offer that. But when I look at a whole business, it's not just about service. Brendan, it's something we want to talk about today is credibility, right? I don't know how many times someone recommends a company, even if it's word of mouth, and I'll jump online and I'll have a bit of a look. Or if it's before a meeting, someone's like, hey, meet this person. I'll jump online, jump on Google. First thing I do is look at how many Google reviews. And I feel like 1 review or 5 reviews or 3, it gets the spidey senses tingling, right? You're quite unique in this space, Brando. I know that you've only really focused a bit on those Google reviews in the last few months. However, you're in your area. I think you were rated number 2, highest amount of reviews.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I actually never really cared about it at the very start. Like I was really just like more concerned on the business, the work we're putting out, and didn't really think that people went to Google anymore. Like when I do something, I post it up on Facebook, like, hey, has anyone had need a plumber? Who do you recommend? But I was starting to receive feedback like, hey, you need to actually expand into these different areas and get a better digital presence. And, so that's what I did. I went on to Google, created a Google My Business account, and so that people could find me. But I was getting no traffic, right? Like, because the only thing that you could do was Google the business name for it to show up. But if you Googled electrician's town tool, it wouldn't come up. If you tried anything electricians near me, it wouldn't come up. And so I sort of was at a loss with what to do. And I was talking to a guy from a tradie success academy that I was part of. And they said, it's such a big deal. You need to make sure that you have your SEOs right, your keywords right, and have it connect to a website and fill out your description, continue to update it with photos. But the biggest thing is asking for reviews, because what happens with Google reviews, as you know, is that you've got your ranking that people pay for with the ads and all that sort of stuff. But then you've got a natural organic rating, and the more 5-star reviews you have, or the higher your score is with the most reviews, the higher you get ranked. And so it was something that I got challenged on, was like, hey, you need to start focusing on getting some more reviews. How are you going to do that? And so for every person, it's different, but what we do is we basically we'll complete a job, and, we'll complete it well, talk to the customer while we're there, make sure if they're there, make sure they're happy with everything. And then we'll usually wait 2 days. So we'll send out the invoice the day after. Then the day after that, we'll touch base with them. That way, if they have any concerns with the invoice, they can talk to us about it then, rather than just not pay it or feel a little bit resentful and pay it anyway. And like, we're losing a customer there. And so what I do is some days it's not, some times it's not 2 days. I had one today that I just haven't been able to call for 2 weeks because we've just been so busy, right? And so I've called them up, and I just sort of coach them through the call. And I've got customers that are subscribed to us here, and so they're probably going to see this now, but I'm not getting them to lie. I'm just trying to give them cues for what I need for them to leave in a review, right? And so, hey, Jordo, really glad that we could fit you in on such short notice. Were you happy with all the work that was completed? Did the boys, leave the place clean the way they left it? And, unless a customer's really irate, they're not going to be like, no shit, like I freaking don't come back, And so it was one of those things where I'm just like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm queuing what I need them to leave in a review, right? And so, yeah, well, you're happy. Look, I'm really glad that we could fit you in such short notice, or we could fit you in as soon as we could. It really made the difference for you, didn't it? And, it can be different wording, but they always agree, right? And were you happy with, how we left the site and with the job? Yeah, no, it's great. Really happy with it. Great. Look, if you wouldn't mind, after this phone call, I'm just going to send you a text message with the link to our Google review page. Just click the link and it takes you straight there. If you could leave a written review, and I'll make sure I say written because people just click 5 stars, next, done.
Yeah.
Written makes a massive difference. And so if you could leave a written review, that would be fantastic, because it sounds like you're happy with the work, and a 5-star review does a lot for us as far as making us available and be seen organically to other customers. And so then I'm saying that, okay, you're happy. A 5-star review means a lot to us. And so I'm not saying, pick whatever you reckon. It's a 5-star.
Yeah, we want 5, baby.
And And I've told you to expect a text message from me after this phone call. And probably 1 in every 2 that I do, I get straight away a review.
That's a good success rate. I like the fact that you set the expectations. And hey, I'll touch base. A lot of people set expectations, right, but they don't follow through. I think to say, like you said before, hey, we'll once we've done the job, you'll hear from me, we'll follow it up. That way, if they've received the invoice, they haven't paid it, they're not surprised when they get a call from you. There's no hidden or ulterior motive, like, is he under me for not paying the bill? Whatever it may be, right? You just don't know. I like what you say also about we prime people to say yes. You can psychologically get someone to a point of yes. Like there's help books on it or personal development books about, well, not even that, just sales tactic books about getting people to yes. So if I want yes as an answer, like you said, you actually ask them 5 questions before where you're preempting a yes.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, you're happy with, like you said, happy with the guys? Yes. Did they arrive on time? Leave the house tidy? Yes. Hey, would you be happy to leave us a review? Yes. And that's exactly what we do. Talking about service and things like this, right? I had a tradie, Tyler, come to our house the other day and replace some tiles in the kitchen for the house for sale. And I'll tell you, I had cleaners come through the day before, like 5 hours. It cost me a mozza. And this guy comes in the next day, leaves the dust from the tiles all over. Like, I swear to you, everything in my house was covered in dust. Like no attempt to clean up. Just did not give a rat's. I called the head office and was like, trash service, nearly to the extent I'm not the Karen going to give a 1-star review. I'll tell you, I was close. Went into the garage, right? He's left tiles there. We had like hailstorms. I couldn't even get in. I was like, I ain't moving your tiles, bro. So I made him come back and fix it. So you got to do it. They'll never learn, right? Maybe I'm a bit of a Karen.
When you've called that, head office, right? They're not then going to ask for you to complete review, and so you want to make sure that your customer's happy at the same time, right? Like, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Do you mind leaving us a review? Because you're
of course, man. Of course.
Reviews, and so it's just one of those things. And you're creating. I've never once had a customer that's been, a phone call is very disruptive, right? And in the middle of the day, you get a phone call from a tradie, and you're just like, oh, what are they calling about? I've never had anyone try and rush me through one of those calls. They're so happy that I've touched base, because it's hard enough to get a tradie to your house to begin with. But once they're there, they've done the job, you're not expecting to hear from them again. And then when they're just calling just to touch base and make sure that, you're happy with it. And so it's like you said, it's one of those things where for a trade-based thing, this is a great model. I think so. Restaurant, cafe, sector, there's different ways about it. Like, after the server's gone out there, hey, were you happy with your food and all that? Look, here's a QR code. Can you scan that? It takes you straight to our Google review page. Like, there's ways where you can be in their face and asking them, queuing them, and you can train yourself to do it as well.
For you on that. Wait, what's your thoughts on this? Maybe it's me. People are going to think I'm a Karen after this, right? No offense to any Karens listening. It's we could Karan. So, but I think there's that fine line too. Like, it seems like you give that real nice personal touch. You ever been to a restaurant though, where every 2 minutes, like, you're having really good engaging conversation, like, everything okay? You're like, yeah, it's all good. Is everything okay? Is it just me, or can sometimes people be overzealous and you just like, wait, rack off, I'll tell you when it. I'm a big believer, like, you've got to treat wait staff with respect. Absolutely. That's my 101. You have to do that. But sometimes it's sort of like they're really polite and it's like, you're doing a good job, but too good. Is that just me?
There's 2 sides to that, right? Like, so it's always when I've just bitten into a burger. Hey, how is everything? Good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
But like,
I'll wave if I need you.
You're not going to complain while you've got a mouthful of burger there, right?
Yeah.
So, it's all good. Great. I've done my job. You're happy with the food, done. And so I think it could be a method they use to not get complaints about stuff. And so, but at the same time, I think you need to, if you get, like, people would complain about that. Surely there are people that complain.
No, honestly, I've posted stuff online. People complain, right? There's always someone we've given people platforms to share an opinion, and people definitely take advantage of that.
And so there's definitely where you can go then, like as a business owner, get that feedback and be like, okay, what can I change or introduce to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Because, getting a 1-star review is inevitable. You're not going to please everyone. You try and prolong it, sure, and do everything you can not to get it, but you'll probably get one, or a 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, whatever. But with that, in a restaurant or cafe scenario, it's like, okay, well, let's have a team meeting and let's go up to them clearly when they've finished their food. We might touch base and see if they want to eat drinks halfway through or something like
interim or something. Yeah. I got a question. Have you ever had a bad review?
No, I haven't.
No, neither have I. That means we're doing something right. But
with my pool company, I did.
Okay. How did you respond? Because this is a big thing. I've spoke to a lot of people and they're like, we don't read the 5-star reviews. I want to read how you respond to the 1-star review. Like, how did you deal with it? Was it a 1-star or was it a bit better?
So it was a 1-star, and the customer just was not happy with the price, right? It was a tenant, and I guess their expectations weren't met properly, right? And so we said it was roughly going to be this amount for these chemicals. They weren't home. We had to add some more chemicals, and they said, yep, we'll create a credit account. Sent them the invoice, and they just weren't happy, and so they went on and left a bad review. We just went back and we're just like, hey, we're awfully sorry about this. If there's, we'll give you a call tomorrow to see if there's anything we can do to help you out with this. Please feel free to get in contact with us if you have any concerns. But now, regardless of whether or not it's a good review or a bad review, which so far it's been good reviews with this company, we reply to every single review.
Yeah, we do too.
We touch base with, we don't just go, okay, thank you for your review. Say it was a pleasure. Again, we reinforce what we did there, right? It was a pleasure being able to get there as soon as we could to help you out with that. I'm glad we could provide a cost-effective solution for you at your house in Mount Louisa. You're not giving away their exact address, but you're showing people just that area, and you've done X, Y, and Z for them as well. And so it takes that extra personal approach. And so I think there's a company, an electrical company over in Perth, right? Response, and they have a ridiculous amount of reviews. I think it was like 900 reviews or something, right?
Yeah.
They've got like a 4.9-star rating, and they've got some pretty bad reviews in there, and it's not anything that they could have helped. It's just customers that are being asked.
Karens, you can say it. Yeah.
and they come back and they respond beautifully.
Cool. That's
based on the situation, and that's why they'll continue to get customers. And so, they provide good work as well. But just from what people have said to me, since I've started focusing on Google reviews, right? I've had a bunch of Facebook reviews beforehand. Now that I've focused on Google reviews, I've had so many customers call me up, and I asked every single customer, like, if you don't mind me asking, how did you find out about us?
Yeah, okay.
That way we can thank previous customers if it was them who referred them, or we can say, they can be like, hey, well, we found you on Google, and now we know we can invest some more time because that's how they found us. And so we can invest our resources into that area.
Have you seen, so obviously since focusing on Google reviews and building that credibility, you've definitely seen like an increase in business?
100%. Yeah, Google.
Wow, that's awesome.
I didn't think I would. And so this is another thing, right? I'm dragging my feet in the sand here because I'm getting a website set up. It's taking a little longer than usual, but I'm wanting to do it right because SEO is a massive thing with Google. It organically rates you super high if you do it well. And it just costs money and takes time. And so I'm dragging my feet through the sand at the moment, but it is something, Google is something that you want to invest in as a business owner. Facebook is okay, but it wastes a lot of money and time. Google is where you're going to see the massive returns.
I like that. I've got a couple of my clients as well who have really focused on those Google reviews. And I know we're probably sticking on this topic for a while today, but I think it's important because everyone that runs a business, or even people that are looking to shop somewhere, it's good to understand how it all works. The ones who have like high reviews, like 50 to like 300-400, like you're saying, like that Response Electrical in WA, I've asked them, like, how do you do it? And they're like, we hound people. And when I say hound people, they're just religious in their approach. Hey, someone's happy. If someone says, hey, like, I've really appreciated the service, based on reciprocity. So reciprocity is the art of, if you give something to someone or you invite them to, say, a barbecue or a wedding, they feel inclined to invite you back. It's this. So that's something called reciprocity. You do something for someone, they're more inclined to do something for you. So that means that in the event you've provided a good service, it is the prime opportunity to say, hey, thank you for sharing that with us. Would you mind helping other people like you who may be searching by sharing that feedback online? Would mean a lot to me. They're like, yeah, that's awesome. Then follow it up with an email, or we said before, set the expectations. Hey, do you mind if I send you a quick reminder email tonight when you may be in front of your computer? Yeah, that's fine. That way it doesn't look like you're hounding them when they send it. They're really good at that. And we have to understand that in your mind, you might have had 3 clients in the day say, hey, awesome service. I can't believe it. Nothing like it. And for you, you're like, when you sit down at the end of the day, you're like, those 2-3 interactions mean a lot to me. So you're remembering it at the end of the day. I can assure you that once they've left your driveway, they're not like, oh, I'm going to tell 10 people about Genesis or about Blackstone. So I think people do need those prompts. I've said I was going to do a review for someone, and until they've reminded me, I'm like, or sent me the direct link, I'm like, shit, I forgot. And I do it. So being vigilant is really important. Some people also have it in the bottom of their email. Yeah. Hey, if you've enjoyed dealing with us, we would really appreciate a 5-star review. I like that. Which is really important.
I really like the email footer one. There's a few companies we deal with that do that. I shouldn't be terrified because we do provide good service, but I'm terrified that it's going to go to the wrong person. And and they're just going to see it and be like, yeah, I'll leave a review. And so
you got to make sure you write your emails nicer.
That's right.
I feel that. Like, then I see that's a really good point, because at least when you ask for, you've got to be really pissed to give someone a 1-star review. Whereas if I present them an opportunity and I'm semi-pissed, I may still leave a review. That's a really good point. So I think where we can actually selectively target people who are going to give us a good review is really important. Quick questions.
Talking about word of mouth and stuff like that as well. People that are PO'd and irate are more likely to leave reviews than people that are happy with you. They're more likely to talk about you in a social setting than people that are happy with you. And so it's just making sure, and that's why, I'll touch base with clients later on, or if they ever refer somebody to us, I'll touch base with them again and thank them for that referral, because it's something that's just not done well in business is being personable,
Yeah, it's easier to share a bad story because it seems a bit more interesting than good story. Look at the news, right? I'm not throwing shade at the news, but people love a bit of drama, right? Guess what happened with this trading? I was like, he left dust all over my freaking house. Like, bad story. Do you want to know what trading company it is? But
that's right.
But people are like, who tell us? So, but no, that will remain confidential. Side note, right? When you started doing Google reviews, because it's real cool watching that number go up, did you ever review yourself from another account?
No, I haven't.
Didn't you? I did. So secret, try anyone that looks at my Google reviews, leave me one and see if you can find what one I did. So damn it, I feel like I'm really out here this early days, right?
Well, okay, put it this way. I got you to leave me a review, and I've never done electrical work for you.
Who did that? Did I do one?
Yeah, you left me a review, and so I said,
"That's a bit shady."
Hey, can you do this? That's a bit shady.
Yeah, that is a bit shady. Now we're sharing all our secrets. But we have spoken about networks and that as well. Yeah, I think it is good. Like, you have to go the low hanging fruit. Like, if you have had happy customers or people that have interacted with you, like, look at a lot of reviews. People's like mum and that's on there. I don't think you would do it. Like, imagine if all my reviews had last name Lowry. Be a bit sus, right? So do your research, and I think once you get to sort of like doing 20 to 100 reviews, it's like you either got a big family or you're actually doing something right, and that's important. But Brando, I think that's we've smashed that topic out. I think credibility, service, reputation is really good. I think it's probably a good segue into next week. I think we talk about probably a bit more on relationships. I know you've got really good relationships, and I'll delve into a little bit of networking. I've got someone we may be able to bring on as a guest, but we'll see. It'll either be us, but we'll try and get someone, and we'll get their insights. I know a bit of a master networker who's just amazing. So yeah, we'll try and do that. No promises, but we thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you for heading up this one, Jordan.
No, my pleasure. And that's all good. Remember, good service. We might create your next competitor. See you all.
Awesome. See you guys. Bye.